as always, Draft Day Sports, College Basketball 2021, and today, not doing it solo. There's only so far you can go solo, right? We got CoachFury here. What's up, CoachFury?
Hey, what's going?
We are checking out. We've got the, we already had the 9/11 commitments come through. We're on 9/18, and guys, we are within an hour of the second round of commitments going up live. So it's getting crazy in here. Me and CoachFury and everybody else with GM Games wanted to jump on and just talk about what took place in the first week and what we expect to see going forward. So with that said, man, I'm 100% turning it over to you. Tell me what you saw in week one. What was your biggest surprise? What was the biggest not surprise? Like, what are your reactions from week one?
Yeah, sure. So, look, we have to start with the main man, don't we? We have to start with McRae. I think that is the best starting point to talk about this chaos and then go from there, really.
Yeah, talk about him.
Broken cards, weren't they? Hearts were broken with this guy.
Absolutely. There are tears throughout the entire league.
I mean, to simply put it, that there was multiple Big Ten teams that were involved and interested in him, multiple ACC teams who were interested in him, and then we had North Carolina turn up, grab a human coach, and basically waltz in and take him. It was just something that's if there was news reporters going, they'd be going absolutely berserk over this signing. This guy, as you point out, Carls, on your last one, he is a complete and utter five-star talent. He's probably going to be a number one overall pick in the Pro League that's going to sit off the back of this.
Absolutely. A 6-7 point guard.
Yeah, 6-7 point guard. You know, I know Chris from GM Games has talked a little bit about him being a Magic Johnson type player, and you can certainly see that in some of his ratings. But
that's absolutely right.
That one, that one I looked at and I was like, as a Michigan coach, I was like, I'm relieved he's not coming to the Big Ten.
And as a Louisville coach, I'm terrified. I'm sitting over here like, oh man, I'm not gonna have to deal with this dude ever. He's gonna be in the Big Ten, and he's gonna be a nightmare for them. And then it's like, UNC, excuse me, I gotta play this dude 2 or 3 times a year. Are you crazy? Oh man, it was heartbreak. It was chaos. Magic Dan McRae, I had him all lined up. We were making posters. We were making Magic Johnson comparisons across the board. And then he totally bailed on Michigan State and went to UNC.
He did. And I think that's a theme of thought, really, for North Carolina and the other 2 recruits they picked up, to be honest with you. I don't know what your take on that was, but 2 other guys definitely bowed on other teams and decided to waltz in with McRae into North Carolina and create probably one of the best classes that they're going to have, and we're going to see in the CBGM next year, certainly.
Oh, 100%. You want to talk about that? So I wanted to hit on like top commitments, top betrayals. I had a handful of topics kind of outlined coming into this, but you're going to skip me right ahead to top betrayals. So let me get off of Dan McRae and go over here and look at who broke my heart. Like, guys, my heart is broken. I'm crying. I'm bathing in my own tears. Whatever you want to call it. I'm heartbroken. I was betrayed, and it goes right back to UNC. And you know I'm talking about Mike Bender. What did you think when you saw Mike Bender committed to UNC?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't followed Mike Bender too much because he's not necessarily in my region or in my remit of being able to recruit him. So, I mean, I've obviously got his stats, and there's no doubt about it. He's going to be an elite, a pure elite shooting guard at this level. He's a bit undersized for the pro level, in my opinion. But in terms of the actual recruitment, I mean, perhaps you could probably talk to it a little bit better, because I didn't watch this one outside of probably Michigan State sitting within there. And I honestly didn't expect Michigan State to jump in and grab them. I mean, you're obviously saying your heart's broken. Have you recovered from that now? Are you still with the Michael Jordan meme?
No, I'm still crying in the corner. All the Michael Jordan memes I've been posting all day long in the meme channel, they're all me right now. I'm crying. My heart is broken. Here's the thing about Mike Bender. And if he wasn't on your list and you weren't recruiting him, you're not going to see the true level of heartbreak. This is a guy from Lexington, Kentucky, right? So first of all, Lexington, Kentucky, that's in state. Secondly, he was a top 10 player at the Indy Elite camp. So this is one of the best 10 prospects in the nation, and he's 70 miles down the road from Louisville, right? I mean, he's in Lexington. If he went to UK, I get it. But here's the other thing. Recruit info, his interest, number 1 by a mile, location. So this is one of the top 10 prospects in the country. He's in Lexington, Kentucky. His biggest concern is location, and he has me toward the top of his list the entire time. And he goes to UNC. Like, what are you talking about UNC? Like, how's the location figure into that? It was absolute heartbreak in Louisville when Mike Bender committed to the Tar Heels.
Well, I mean, something to give you a bit of sympathy, really, is that there's a player that I will talk about probably also went to North Carolina in a minute that broke my heart early on, but I quickly recovered on that one and went after other guys. But I mean, something I always have in the back of my head around this recruiters, you've got to remember these guys are 17, 18 years old, and they don't necessarily know what they want.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Even the AI can't effectively tell you what a 17-year-old wants. I think that's a life lesson, right?
Exactly. If you text a 17, 18-year-old, or you call a 17, 18-year-old as a recruiter, he may tell you what you want to hear. And in the case of Bender, he may be telling you, what you want to hear. I like Louisville, it's down the road for me, but really I want to go to a top ACC team, and I want to go there with some stars.
I think that's absolutely true. So we talk about some of the top teams, and obviously, I mean, we're wasting our breath at this point if we want to talk about how good North Carolina's class is. After North Carolina, who do you think's had some of the better classes? Who are you impressed by? Who do you think still has work to do? What are your thoughts on other classes?
Yeah, let me just pull one up quickly. It'd be easy for me to talk about it.
Sure thing.
So one of the ones I looked at and I was like, oh, they've had a sneaky good class, and they could have a sneaky great class by the end of the sim today, and that is Xavier.
Yes.
They picked up Hubs, who I was heavily looking at, being in sort of my region. An elite shooting guard. I believe he was a top 5 prospect at Chicago in the prep. He was also a top 25 guy at the Indy Elite camps. So, not someone who necessarily going to sleep on. He's going to come in and he's going to be a very good college player from day one. I also picked up Josh Ross. And I'll be honest, I don't know a great deal about him, but I do know that obviously in terms of his position in region, he was pretty much a top prospect in region for the centre position. He's got not necessarily got the height, but he's got quite good weight, so he's not going to get shifted around too much. And I could see him probably playing, looking at his grades that I've got, I could see him probably playing anywhere from small forward to centre, to be perfectly honest with you.
Absolutely.
And then in terms of the other guy that they might get, granted it's might get, because as you've seen with the other guys, they're 5-star prospects, who knows, but Nick Burris from him, they are second on his list. And I can tell you that his requirements for what he demands is pretty much all mixed across the board. So I think they have a good shot of picking him up. And that to me would be a really, really good recruiting class for Xavier, which is a sneaky one. I'd say it's a sneaky recruiting class from them. They've looked the level below the 5-star prospects around the region, picked them up pretty early, and then also thrown their hat in for a 5-star.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. And I was looking at Xavier's class earlier. I think that Bart Tubbs is an outstanding player. He's going to be an elite player in the Big East for the next 4 years probably, because I think he's a 4-year type of player. I don't have the recruiting information on actually any of these guys except for Nick Burris, but I know for a fact Bart Tubbs is elite. Josh Ross, I'm not certain, but I have a sneaking suspicion that he'll do well. And then if they top that class off with Nick Burris, that is the cherry on top. Just perfection, beauty, right? They could be a very, very dangerous class. One of the other classes that I wanted to take a look at just quickly is Kansas. And I'm sure that, fellow streamer love, you're reaching out, you're watching, you're supporting the videos. I know you saw the top 5 bold predictions. You saw me call Kansas. saying they were going to be the top class in the nation. So week 1 is over. Obviously McRae went to UNC. They did land Mike Jacobson, who was the second highest offered recruit in the entire nation. And other than that, they struck out. They lost Nick Tui to Oklahoma. They lost guards to Creighton, to Baylor, to Texas, whoever it was. Kansas really, really just struck out outside of Mike Jacobson. Did you see it coming? What did you think when you saw it?
I certainly saw it coming. I was surprised that you were so high on Kansas at that point in time. I mean, I think the thing... I mean, I'm not as experienced as you are in this game. I'm still learning, and I've played a hell of a lot of single player in the past couple of weeks to try and actually understand the brutal recruiting that we've got in this CBGM. But when you actually look at some of the top prospects and the 5-star guys, in terms of who is currently committed, verbally to different programs, it's actually, apart from North Carolina, it's actually very, very wide open. I mean, there's been a real mixture of teams who have picked up a 5-star recruit. So for Kansas to go in and possibly pick up multiple prospects, I didn't see that happening. I think, getting one is a great chance. I think the follow-up is key for Kansas now, though.
Mm-hmm.
They've obviously focused a lot on the 5-star guys, but how much have they heavily recruited some of these 4-star guys within their region or nationally, that they can then try and sort of recuperate and recover and bring these guys back in?
I totally agree with everything that you just said. And I was, so from an experience perspective and from, seeing this play out before, one of the reasons that I was so high on Kansas is, one, they're a very prestigious school, right? So they're going to have that in their corner all day, every day. Second, if you go and look at their staff and at their assistant coach who handles recruiting, I think he's got like a 95, 96 rating, something crazy. So they were like that assistant coach puts them so far out in front, above and beyond even what their prestige does, right? So I thought that they would have the advantage there. And I'm actually really, really shocked Oklahoma was able to pull away Nick Tui, I believe is his name, a really talented small forward. Even more than that, I think, like, the Dan McRae show, it was always going to be every team in the country in on him, right? I think the recruit that surprised me most was actually Kurt Linney. And I don't know if you have thoughts or opinions on that, but I was shocked.
He was the guy I mentioned earlier who broke my heart very early on.
Shocked.
We were number 1 on his list at the beginning of the start of the league. We were number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I might be able to pick up an elite small forward here. Granted, it'll be a one and done guy. I know we've talked off stream about this guy, with my trials and learning curve with this particular person and recruiting. And you see there we dropped down to 8, but I mean, I was thinking, great, we talked to him, his location was key, his playing time was pretty high, but I was confident that even with the current rotation I have, 2 elite small forwards would be workable, and we'd be able to pitch that. But then we went 2-3 sims along. My coaching recruiting stats are not as good as some of the others. For example, even in my state, my region, you've got Michigan State, you've got Ohio, all have premium recruiters already from day one, and we just don't have that. So then I saw myself slowly slip down that board. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8.
I know the feeling.
Very early, because I thought if I put an offer in early, it might keep us up there in terms of possibilities. But we just got blown out by some of these top tier teams. And I'd probably say about 2 sims ago, I was in the corner crying, thinking, "Oh my goodness, you're not coming to Michigan anymore. What am I going to do?"
He actually had, the recruits will give you feedback on their on-campus visits, right? And the awesome visit is the best that you can hope for.
Yes.
And Kurt Linney actually had an awesome visit to Louisville. I want to say the week before, so not September 11, it would have been September 4, right? He had an awesome visit to Louisville, and I thought long and hard about throwing out an offer because I was getting all the right signals from this guy. and ultimately decided that given where my roster was, like a one and done player, even if he gave me short-term success, I think these one and done guys are great to put you over the top, to make that Final Four run, to win a championship. With the roster I had, I didn't feel like 1 year of Kurt Linney was as good as 4 years of somebody else that could build me up. So ultimately, I never made the offer, but I thought long and hard about it. He was a heck of a prospect, and I never saw North Carolina coming. Never.
No,
I thought he was Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Villanova, any of these other teams. I never saw UNC in the picture.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I didn't see Notre Dame grabbing Kurt Linney. I thought that they would fade away just because of the school prestige point that he's after. I thought Villanova would have just gone in and snagged him, to be honest. But obviously it wasn't to be. North Carolina came in as they did with other recruits and just picked them up and took them away and ran off with them.
All right. So now let's go ahead, because we're about 30 minutes probably away from.
Can I quickly just throw one other team out there?
Sure thing. Sure.
So can we just talk quickly about Pittsburgh?
On it.
Pittsburgh is a great example of a team with not necessarily a higher prestige, that's had a fantastic recruiting class already, and even if
my word, yes.
The team is going to be massively better than it will be this year.
Yes.
It's a huge step change for them.
That's an absolutely.
That backcourt's going to be awesome.
That's an absolutely beautiful call. I know for a fact that every team up and down the East Coast was all over Edmund Parquet. So I don't know. Let me select him. I don't have notes on him. He wasn't on my list, but I guarantee you that he was. If he wasn't top 25 at Indy Elite, then I've never played this game before. But I guarantee you he was a very high camp performer. Every team.
I can add to that because I did actually
Beautiful.
have him on my list. So he didn't stand out at the Indy Elite camp, so he's not going to be probably a full-blown 5-star prospect coming in.
Okay.
He'll still be decent. I would imagine he might be a little bit raw. That's the only thing I'll take away from it. But when you're a team like Pittsburgh and you've got someone like Edmund Parquet, he may be a four-year guy. To be perfectly honest with you, if he comes into Pittsburgh and they build around someone like him, as well as the other addition they managed to pick up in Jared Robinson, who I don't actually have a lot of stats on, but I just saw him as that's a good way, I think, in my opinion, is if you're not an elite team, or you're not a team that can bring in some of the top 5-star guys, get a raw 5-star guy if you can. If you're confident you can maybe keep him for 4 years, and building via the backcourt as they have done here is I think a good route for them to try and take, because one of the things I noticed, I don't know about you, but I think I mentioned in the chat that point guard's handling ability in CBGM is atrocious. It's really, really bad. And so if you had a really good backcourt, that's such a huge advantage because of the way you can play man-to-man defense in this game. And I think Pittsburgh are onto something, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. And if Parquet didn't stand out at Indy, then I will agree with you. Being a top 15 guy like that, he's going to have really high potential, and the longer they can keep him around, the more he's going to grow into that. So it's just a matter of, does he declare early, or can they keep him around? But to me, the star of this class is Jared Robinson. Open up that player profile. Look at his statistics. He averages 13 assists per game. That's ridiculous. Stack that up against any point guard in the class. This guy, I guarantee you, when they pull him in, if you go into the player profile and look at the attributes, the new attributes, he's going to have either the playmaking or the magician, whatever attribute, or maybe both. This guy is a star when it comes to distributing the basketball.
Yeah, completely agree. I think the Pittsburgh team is going to probably improve quite considerably next year with those two guys coming in.
Yep, I'm right there with you. All right, so now we're about 20 minutes out, probably, give or take, from the date being pushed and new information coming out. So let's jump over here. I'm going to take a look. I've got all positions, all regions, full recruit list. You can see I haven't even, I've still got one scholarship apparently that I need to dish out. I must have forgotten to do it earlier. But let's take a look at all available. Let's go through here and make some predictions so that we can get something official on air that people can come back and make fun of us later for, all right? So just as soon as this spins up, here we go. All right, I am looking at the top uncommitted prospects in the nation, and it looks like there are currently 6 5-star prospects still uncommitted. So let's go point by point. I assume you've got your game up, and we're going to start right here at the very top. We've actually already talked about him tonight, but Nick Burris, a 5-star guy out of Elkhart, Indiana, absolute stud. He's hot on Marquette, Xavier, Notre Dame, Tennessee, West Virginia, and Purdue. Where do you see Nick Burris landing?
It's a really tough one, to be honest with you, because obviously I looked at Nick Burris as well, being in my region. So I think he is probably going to, if I had to put myself on a limb, I'm probably going to say he's going to go to Marquette. I think he's going to stay with number 1 prospect on his list and in his top 10 schools. I think they probably have the best offer for him in terms of the overall things that he would want from his recruiting information, be it bit of location, playing time, prestige. I think that they have the overall package in comparison to everyone else, where they probably don't have everything that he wants.
So I don't actually have any information on Burris. He wasn't somebody that was on my call, watch list, anything like that. I have no info on him whatsoever. So all I'm doing is looking at a top 10 list and throwing darts blindly, right? I mean, if there's anything I've learned over the years, it's believe in yourself. I called Notre Dame having a top 10 class. I'm sticking by it. I know, again, we're not actually, I'm not looking at chat. I don't know if you are or not, but I don't have any information on chat, so who knows? We're flying blind tonight. But I'm sure Galia is out there talking trash about me, talking trash about how bad the stream is, whatever it is that he's doing. I'm sending him love. I'm sending him love. Nick Burris is going to be a Notre Dame Fighting Irish. There you go. He's gonna round out that class. He's already actually signed Quinn Howard. He's gonna bring in Nick Burris. So that's my call on the top undeclared recruit in the nation. So next up, we are sticking with point guard, and we're going to Jerron Jennings. And this guy has got Big Ten written all over him. Have you recruited Jerron Jennings? Have you offered him? Is he interested in your school? What do you got on Jerron?
Yeah, so we were 10th on his list, I believe. He was not interested. We had a visit with him. It was one of those mediocre visits.
Oh, that hurts.
It was painful, but I wasn't too worried about him. I actually think Jerron Jennings is going to be a pretty terrible point guard, in my opinion.
Really?
I can't see it, to be honest with you. I think he's going to be one of these ballpark average point guards that we've got that will just start and not materialise into anything. Know that they said he had a decent camp at Indy and really everything on paper's against me, but I just hate that ball handling ability, and I hate the fact that he's a point guard and he can't shoot a 3-throw. It's terrible.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
For me, looking at his recruiting information, he is heavily looking at location. That's my insight into this. I can probably see. I'm going to say I'd love to see Ohio not pick him up. I know Ohio's probably got an offer in on him, and now they've lost McCray at number 4. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to see him not go to Ohio because of my little rivalry I have with Rizzo across the multiple sim leagues that we're in. So I'm probably going to go with the fact I think Wisconsin will come in late in a similar fashion that North Carolina has with others, and beat and just snag him away from some of these other guys that are in the top 4.
I would really love to see that. I think Wisconsin coming in and grabbing him would be great, because I feel like Wisconsin was sort of in on a handful of prospects and got the short end of the shaft. So hopefully here, in the second and third days of commitments, they're going to pick something up. But
Yeah,
I got real bad news for you. I got real bad news for you. The Cards crystal ball says Ohio State for Jaron Jennings. He's going to be a Buckeye. He really likes the word "the." He's going to the Ohio State University.
I would probably say though, in terms of my decision with Wisconsin, I'd love to see that just because of the drama it would cause. My head is saying Indiana. I know it's not number one, but location is so preferable for him. I could see Indiana taking him.
You know, I was talking earlier in chat about liking to see the blue blood programs come back, so I would love for Indiana to be a real threat, to be one of the top schools, because historically Indiana is one of the 5, 6, 7, 8 best schools, period. Talk about Bobby Knight, Calbert Cheney, or whatever it is, like the Hoosiers, they got history, right? I love to have a basketball league where Indiana is relevant. So Jaron Jennings going to IU would be awesome, but he's going to be a Buckeye. He's going to be a Buckeye. I can feel it in my bones. Although Notre Dame is in there, and I think Agelia had offered him, pulled the offer, and may have re-offered. So usually that does not work out well, but you never know. It's not a good strategy at all. All right, so the third 5-star prospect still available, small forward Vic Judd, 6'5" small forward out of Terrell, Texas, averaging 18 a game, 7 rebounds, give or take. He's got West Virginia first on his list, Oregon second. Nobody else is in the hot category. Is there any way Vic Judd's going anywhere other than West Virginia?
I have absolutely no information on Vic Judd. I didn't bother scouting him or looking at him.
Okay.
So this is a complete dart, as you say, throwing it up
there. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say probably Arizona. Arizona to me looks
You like Arizona? Okay.
I like that one. I think, for me, this seems to fit. Someone the name of Vic Judd seems like he's a good association with Arizona.
Vic Judd, I don't know, man. He sounds like a mountaineer. Like Vic Judd sounds like he should be standing right there, shoulder to shoulder with Bob Huggins and Kevin Pittsnoggle. Like, we are the Mountaineers. Vic Judd, he needs his buddy. Oh God, Chris has been talking about. There's another player out there, Vegas Bruce. They need Vegas Bruce and Vic Judd and all these guys in West Virginia. They all need to be Mountaineers, I think.
Yeah, let's see. West Virginia versus Arizona. See where he goes, hopefully, today.
Yeah, I think we, what are we now? We're probably 15 minutes away. My guess is, I know you got to go to sleep soon. I might go off and then get my device up and come back on live for a reveal. I'll talk to Chris when we get off stream. But if you hang out and you want to stay with me, we can do that together too, buddy. Let's take a look here. The number 4 uncommitted prospect in the nation, Jason Humphrey. I actually do have some information on Jason Humphrey. He was on my list. He did not stand out at Indy. He's got some notes that says he's a hardworking kid, but he didn't stand out. So this is going to be another one of those guys who's got a high ceiling, but might not necessarily be a 4 or 5-star guy walking in the door. His number 1 school is North Carolina. I mean, I don't think that surprises anybody. His second is Villanova, and then he's got Wisconsin, Kansas, Louisville, Florida, Tennessee, Notre Dame. What do you see for Jason Humphrey?
Well, I mean, I can't see him going to North Carolina, basically because they don't need him at this point. If he goes there, he is probably going to tank and transfer, if I'm being honest. But looking at the other guys, I have a good question. Villanova, Kansas, who has the highest school prestige out of those two?
Kansas is going to have the higher school prestige for sure, but Villanova is run by the AI, and they still have an AI coach in Jay Wright, whose recruiting ability is going to be significantly higher than the humans.
Okay. That's interesting then. This is what I can see happening. I can see Kansas Panic offering him to try and recover from their failures in the first sim, but I can see probably Villanova taking it then if they are on AI and still have a coach with a good recruiting skill.
Yeah, I think here for Jason Humphrey, I think that a lot of humans, people that have watched our streams, been around the league, been in chat, I think people understand exactly how important the camps are, and seeing him not stand out at Indy, my guess is that Kansas is going to find a better replacement. I also think that Wisconsin will know better than to offer this guy. I see this is an AI victory. This guy's going to Jay Wright and Villanova. That's my call. So, Jason Humphrey to Villanova. Go ahead, book it, mark it down, whatever it is that you do, put it in stone. Jason Humphrey, Nova. So what do we got so far? We called.
Jason Humphrey, I'd be very interested to see, just to see his stats when he comes into the league, because he looks like the type of guy who could play 3 or 4 positions.
I think so, but I do think not standing out at the camp, he's gonna be a guy with very high potential and relatively low ratings at first. He's gonna be very similar to the one that we talked about earlier.
A good redshirt prospect.
Yes, he'd be a great redshirt prospect, but the concern with redshirting a 5-star guy is that he goes pro early, right?
Yeah.
So if you can keep him around, he's going to turn into something special. But I don't know what he's going to do in year 1, and it's just going to be a matter of how long he stays around. If we move along to the next 5-star prospect, this is going to be power forward Bill Carrawell out of the West, out of California. I have no information on Bill Carrawell. Do you have any information on this guy?
Yeah, we what's the best way to put this? We prodded him.
You poked him? Sent him a poke?
Sent him a little poke. We sent him a little text. We sent him a little visit. He wasn't necessarily that interested. But we had a little look at him early on. To say that his demands that I have are probably again centered around a bit of location, a bit of school prestige, playing time is probably what I have from him. So in terms of that, I probably can see him maybe being one of those that goes to, I don't know actually, I could probably see him going to UCLA, that's in that top sort of section of hot guys, maybe Baylor. I think Baylor's still coach AI run, or they actually
Yeah, Baylor's still being run by the AI.
Maybe Baylor or UCLA is probably my 2. I had to pick between the 2. I'd probably go with Baylor, I think.
I would really like to see UCLA start rebuilding, start bringing in top-level talent. For whatever reason, this guy's still got BYU on his list, and in this case, I'm going to defer to the young man's top 10 list. I mean, we talked earlier about 17-year-olds not knowing what they want, but I think in this situation, Bill Carrawell is going to go, and he's going to be a Cougar. Right? BYU Cougars? Yeah. I think he's going to BYU.
Going to be a prospect out the bat as well. Saying he's a top 25 guy at Indy, so he's going to be a good player from day one.
That's really good to know. So, Bill Carrawell, wherever he ends up, gonna be a stud right out of the gate. It's just a matter of where it's gonna be. Is he gonna be at UCLA? Is he gonna be at Nova? Villanova, West Virginia, Baylor. 3 AI teams in his top 5. So, those are all very dangerous threats. And actually, BYU, I think BYU might be AI as well. So, UCLA at a bit of a disadvantage there. All right, so that takes us through 5 of the top 6 prospects that are still undeclared, bringing us to our last, beacon of hope, whatever you want to call it. Top 25, number 23 overall, number 5 shooting guard in the nation, 5-star guy, Donya Banes, the shooting guard out of Florida. And I've looked at him. I talked about him a little bit in my stream. He didn't stand out at Indy. He didn't go to a regional camp. He's very highly rated, but I think that this guy is hot trash.
He is going to be awful. I've seen 4-stars who have come across better than him.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Even just within my region. That is terrible for a 5-star guy. I mean, he can't... He's undersized anyway to begin with. Perhaps off college, not undersized, but he's undersized in what I would expect. Ball handling's terrible. What? Guys can't shoot a free throw. This is madness.
Athleticism F.
Guy's an A inside and A outside, and he can't shoot a free throw. Yeah, I could honest, I don't think. I think Duke will have more sense than to pick him up.
No. Duke already has an offer out. Duke already has an offer out. I showed Duke's offer list on my stream a day or two ago. Duke has offered him. I'm calling him to Duke.
Okay. Duke. I would say Duke would take it then because.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else will offer. Nobody else is going to offer.
He'd be stupid not to take that offer, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fairness to Duke, I understand, Justin doesn't get a ton of time to play, so, I mean, his Duke team's going to get a little bit of crap, but, if he were around, I think he'd pull that offer and move it somewhere else, but I don't know that he's available. I don't know he's been available for the last couple of days, so I think he's going to end up getting stuck with Donya Banes, and I think Donya Banes is going to be terrible.
Yeah, I agree. Can't say much more on that one.
Nothing else to discuss there, right? All right, man.
It's a downer one to finish on.
Let's not end on a bad note. Let's go on a good note. So we can go on a good note in one of two ways. A, it's 8 o'clock. I can reach out to Chris, see if he's ready to push the save. Or B, we can talk about some of the funniest memes that popped up in the new meme channel on the GM game server today. And I will let you drive us whichever direction you'd like to go, buddy.
Let's see where Chris is in terms of the export. Let's do it. I can probably be around for a little while longer if he is pushing it out now, and we can do some instant reaction.
I'll send the zip when you're good. Give me 1 second. Here's what we're going to do. If you're going to be around, let me shut down the stream. We're coming back, guys, in less than 5 minutes. We're going to shut down stream. All I'm doing is if I can get an updated zip, we're going to do that, okay? If I can't, so be it. But if I can get the updated zip, we're going to do the reveal day 2, September 25th commitments coming in. Give me 5 minutes and we'll be up. So,
who is going to be the new Ohio and be absolutely disappointed? That's the question.
we will have to see what happens. All of that coming here in about 5 minutes, straight from the Twitch channel here. Guys, we appreciate you being by, and see you in 1 minute.